William Byron absolutely thrashed the field on Sunday in Las Vegas. So, is this the start of a possible championship contending season, or is it just another start of a hot streak? Let's talk about it. Now, William Byron knows how to get to victory lane. Heck, he won twice last year. However, those two wins came in the first 8 races, and after that, he only had one top 10 before the playoffs came around. So, he was very hot and very dominant at the beginning of the year, and then after those first 8 races, he looked very inconsistent and just never seemed like the same driver we saw in the first 8 races. If you don't remember last year, heck, there's people after his Martinsville win that were saying and going off about how William Byron is a true championship threat this year. And at one point last year, Byron was the favorite to go win the championship. Now, while you can say, okay, so Byron won his 2 races last year and struggled for the rest, it's probably going to happen this year too. I don't think so. Byron was very easily the best driver all day at Las Vegas, and that's no questioning that at all. He was the best car, driver, everything. He executed, and he took care of his opponents with relative ease at times. And when those opponents you have to take care of are the likes of Kyle Larson, who is a champion, Alex Bowman, who is in also great equipment and is a winner, Martin Truex Jr., another champion, and Denny Hamlin, one of the greatest drivers to never win a championship so far in his career. I have no reason to believe at all this was just a fluke of a win. Plus, add on the 176 laps and the fact that he won both stages, he was phenomenal. So now, I'm going to address this. Consistency. Can Byron stay consistent? Well, let's look at this. This is going to be the second year he gets to run with the next-gen car. And one thing that a lot of people never really got to figure out is how to run consistent with the next-gen car. Heck, we saw a lot of the drivers that did go compete for the championship have streaks of inconsistency. Were they ever as long as Byron's to some people? No. But were they still streaks of inconsistency? 100%. Byron's was the summer stretch. Look at Chase Elliott, who was the best car for the majority of the regular season, then hit the playoffs and was the ballad of inconsistency. Look at Kyle Busch, who was kind of just out of it all season. Look at Joey Logano, who after wins at Darlington and Worldwide Technology, struggled through the majority of the rest of the year and never looked the same until it hit playoff time and he went and won at Las Vegas and Phoenix. All these drivers went through inconsistent periods. Now we're looking at the second year of a next-gen car where everybody knows and has some sort of knowledge of how to run each track at least once with a full race under their belt. And I have no reason to believe that William Byron can't put consistency. Heck, before the next-gen car, William Byron was the staple of consistency, constantly running up front and getting top 10s for Hendrick Motorsports. The year before the next-gen car was introduced, Byron had the most top 10s in his career, which was in 2021. I don't think William Byron's going to be as inconsistent as people think. And I'm impressed with what William Byron's been able to do. Now, for other things that went on the race, let's talk about Hendrick Motorsports and their dominance. Hendrick was honestly the class of the field on Sunday as well. Obviously with William Byron running the race, but also Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman showing a ton of speed. Now, before I get to everything else with Hendrick, you're probably wondering, where's Chase Elliott? Well, if you have not seen the news already, Chase Elliott last Friday was on a trip in Colorado and broke his tibia, which required a 3-hour surgery that night. And it was announced that day that Josh Berry would hop into the car at Las Vegas. And yesterday it was announced that Josh Berry will race the rest of the oval races for the next 6 weeks as Chase Elliott will be out. And Mike Rockenfeller will be racing at the Circuit of the Americas in the number 9 car. Chase Elliott is slated to return at Talladega. However that will work. Hopefully it will work properly and everything will go well. Hoping to see Chase Elliott back on the track. Now back to what Hendrick did on Sunday. Hendrick finished 1, 2, 3 in both Stage 2 and the race. Byron Larson finished 1, 2 in all 3 stages of the entire race. And Hendrick was honestly just on top of it. And that could be a scary thing for the rest of NASCAR. Because Hendrick has shown when they figure out cars and they get going and they get it quicker than everybody else, it's not fun for the rest of the field. Look back at 2021. Hendrick really honed in and figured out those cars that year. And they had some of the most dominating performances that year. Heck, one of their cars went and won 10 races. Nobody was close to touching Hendrick in 2021. And even in the races Larson was winning, you usually saw two more or all three Hendrick cars in the top 5 or the top 10. Hendrick really seems like they're going to hone in these cars. And depending on what we see next week at Phoenix at a mild racetrack, if we continue to see Hendrick start getting going, it could spell a lot of misery for the rest of the field this year. And it's going to maybe take a while to start catching up to Hendrick again. Which is crazy to think about, saying that a few years ago when the Camaro ZL1 was introduced, people were like, oh, this is the downfall of Hendrick. Now, years after that, Hendrick's claimed 2 more championships and is again one of the most dominant teams in NASCAR. Now, another driver that really caught my eye, but not in a good way, was Joey Logano. Now, historically, Las Vegas is an extremely good track to Joey Logano. He runs really, really well there. Heck, he won the previous race going into this race during the playoffs at Las Vegas to clinch himself into the Final Four. Now, Joey Logano, yes, started on pole, but after him starting on pole, he just fell through the back of the field. Did not finish well in Stage 1, was terrible in Stage 2, quite frankly, and also hit the wall. Then in Stage 3, got a little dicey with Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and unfortunately put him into the outside wall and took him out of the race. And I gotta say, it spells a little of concern for me so far for Joey Logano. This week at Las Vegas, he was terrible. Go back to Fontana the week prior, he ran well, but kind of lost speed towards the end of it and was not up front in contention like I thought he should have been. And Daytona was honestly one of the worst super speedway performances I've seen out of Logano recently. I was kind of upset by it. And then you go to the Coliseum where he won the race a year ago, and during the race, he was more just dive bombing and wrecking people than actually moving through the field. Logano has me a little concerned, especially as the defending champ. Now, I do want to see how he performs at Phoenix, saying that is the last track he won at. But if he continues to struggle going into Phoenix, I do have to say I am going to be a little concerned for Joey Logano going into the rest of the season. But for now, that's all I have. So now I want to ask you guys, is Byron a true threat, or is he just going to slump off? And should Logano's early season struggles be a concern, or am I just overreacting? Answer in the comments down below, and while you're at it, make sure to share this video, leave a like, and subscribe when you haven't already. I just want to let you guys know as well, I appreciate every single last one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.